Welcome to the Purpose and Profit Club podcast for nonprofit leaders, mission-driven creatives, and social entrepreneurs. Get ready to stop dreaming and start doing. Here, ideas become action. We prioritize purpose and profit. You ready? Let's go. Have you ever found yourself saying things like, I wish we had more donors. I wish we had more supporters, volunteers. Oh, I need more clients. We're just not seeing the growth that I need to see. Our revenue is flat and I'm not really sure what the problem is, right? And maybe you're looking at some competition and you're feeling like annoyed and frustrated and thinking to yourself, like, what do they have figured out that I don't? The number one thing that they have figured out, that any organization has figured out, that you don't, that you are not doing, that's what we're going to discuss today. And this is true for so many of my nonprofit clients, my social impact businesses, my consultants. This is the thing that is keeping you plateaued, okay? This is the thing that you're avoiding. And that thing is lead generation. Okay, lead generation might sound like marketing speak. It might sound icky and salesy. Stay with me here because lead generation is how you grow your audience base. It's how you get more customers, more donors, more clients, more supporters to take action. Without it, without true cultivation of new leads, you are talking to the same group, the same pool again and again and again. Let's imagine a swimming pool, okay? And let's say there's a big swimming pool. There's 100 people in it. Without lead generation, it's the same 100 people in the pool, except on a hot summer day, maybe it's 50 people that day. Maybe it's 25 people of that 100. Maybe at the max, it's 90 people of that 100. But we need to get new people in the pool, right? We need to grow the pool. And the number one reason so many people aren't growing this audience, aren't making this a top priority, is because it can feel pretty terrible, right? It can feel icky and salesy. It can feel like you're putting yourself on a platter for judgment or rejection. But I have seen again and again that it is the through line. It is the piece that will grow your business. That's it, period. And it doesn't have to feel icky, salesy. It doesn't have to feel bad at all. Like, it actually doesn't have to feel bad at all. I am teaching a course called Outreach Genius. It is a live 4-week cohort where I'm going to teach you how to prospect, how to outreach, how to generate new leads for your organization, but do it in a way that actually sounds like you. Okay. And to do it in a way that sounds like it's in integrity, it's in your own voice. Do it in a way that has an ease to it. So let's drill down a bit more on this concept of lead generation or outreach, as I'll kind of use those interchangeably. Okay. So lead generation tactically could be many, many different things. There's not one way to generate leads. Okay. So let me give you a couple of examples. One way to generate leads might be to run a peer-to-peer fundraiser, right? So you start a peer-to-peer fundraiser and suddenly you have new supporters who know, like, and trust your organization. You're getting that visibility and awareness through the peers who are running that fundraiser. That would be one way. Another way would be through a lead magnet, through generating new subscribers to join your email list, okay? And maybe you would promote that lead magnet on your social networks. There are likely lots of people hanging out on your social networks that aren't subscribed to your email list. And subscribing to your email list is a great way to nurture them. So those are a couple of different ways. In-person networking. Networking at its core is lead generation. I told you in a previous episode that many years ago, I built a real estate business and I built it from scratch. I had 0 leads. I literally had 0 leads of people who were interested in buying or selling a house and having me represent them. And I had to build the muscle of prospecting and outreach and working my list, first creating a list, working my list, so I could build this real estate business. And did it feel uncomfortable in the beginning? Yes. Was it excruciating? No. And the more that I did it, it literally was like going to the gym. The more that I did it and the more that I found like my sweet spot in doing it and the more that I found my own voice and perspective, the more people that were attracted to come into my world, the more people that would refer me clients. That's how I built that business. And the same foundation is true for your organization. But you first got to start prospecting. You've got to start working your database, working your network, and doing it in a way that doesn't make you feel like you're getting, right? Doesn't make you feel like you're like taking something from somebody, or doesn't make you feel like I would rather go to the dentist, Christina, than do any prospecting and outreach. No. And that's a really normal thing, because so many times my clients come to me and they're swimming in their heads about what to say, how to say it, where the meeting should be. Should it be a phone call? How much to ask for? All of the like features of the thing. And swimming in that confusion and that trepidation keeps lead generation on your to-do list. Like it literally keeps it there, and it keeps you in the planning phase, and it keeps you from actually doing it. And one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves when it comes to lead generation is, I don't know who to reach out to, or they don't want what I have to offer. Like they don't want to hear from me. They're not interested in joining. They're not interested in supporting. Like we decide for them. If there's one thing that you can get from today, I want you to stop doing that. Stop deciding for people something that is their own identity and opinion and belief. Like let them have theirs, but your job is to first invite them in. So that's what we're going to be talking about in Outreach Genius. I'm kicking it off with a brand new class inspired by a lot of research that I've been doing to both verbal and nonverbal cues. So if you've ever watched somebody walk into a room and their energy is magnetic, and you just like their vibe, for lack of a better word, right? And you're like, God, they're so confident. Their energy is magnetic. Like, what is it? And you can literally see people want to talk to them. And you're like, like there is a science to that. There is an art to it and a science to it. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about those nonverbal cues that matter, even if you're doing lead gen on the phone, okay? There are ways that we can help you show up as your best self and show up in a way that feels like you. So this isn't about the perfect script. This isn't about saying the perfect set of words. And that's something that I recently emailed my own list about. If there was the perfect set of words to say to get the funding, right? To get the yes, then we would all say the same 10 words. And that would be the sentence that we all do prospecting and outreach with, right? But that's not how it works. So it is part art. It is part science. It's not about the perfect script. It's about leaning into first making a priority for lead gen, number one. Number two, doing it in a way that actually sounds like you, so people are attracted to have those conversations with you, versus have you ever had a conversation with somebody and they're actually like looking past you while you're talking? They're literally looking for somebody else to talk to, looking for a way out, or maybe you've been that person when you feel stuck, right? So this is about creating a conversation that people see as valuable, people want to have with you, and it being an equal exchange of value and connection. So we're going to talk about those nonverbal cues. We're also going to talk about some verbal cues to help you set yourself up for success. I will also walk you through my own lead generation method. And one of the pieces that I love about this program is we have people come into it who are prospecting for so many different reasons. So if you're thinking, now is the time that I want to start cultivating and growing a digital ambassador program, which is a social street team. That's a concept I teach inside Amplify Social Impact, where you build an influencer marketing and ambassador program. And if you're like, I got to start reaching out to people, I got to start DMing them, I need to start emailing them, this is the perfect way to give you the boost of support to do it. Or maybe you're thinking, individual donors. I know I need to grow my individual donor base. I need to go after some major gifts. And honestly, I've been scared to do it. If that's you, You're not alone. That is a very common place where so many people get stuck. Or you're like, oh, I need to call people. I need to make those calls. I need to ask for more. I need to have those funder meetings. This program is perfect for that. I had somebody recently come in and say, you know what? I've already signed up and I'm going to be really working on pitching podcasts. And then I had another person come in and say, I'm going to be working on pitching podcast sponsorships. This person has a podcast, right? So the idea of lead generation, the idea of prospecting, this is you creating and cultivating relationships outside of the ones that already are rocking and rolling, right? This is the number one thing to make your organization grow this year. Without lead generation, what we will see is the same donor base, the same customer or client base, right? And we can go to them and we can ask for more. And I do want you to do that. But what I want you to think about is 10 years from now, what sustains your organization? And what I know to be true is if I were to just press pause and say, anyone who's in my world right now, that's it. That doesn't build a sustainable organization or brand, right? We need to keep adding to it. If you think about a funnel, we need to keep adding people to the top of your funnel in order to grow it. So I want to invite you to join Outreach Genius. It is 4 weeks. It's a live cohort together. And in it, we are going to take a deep dive into the tactical method that has worked for me and has worked for so many of my clients and students to increase their prospects, to increase the yeses, right? So it's not just about the idea of figuring out who the new leads are, but when you make the ask that they are a magnet for the yeses. I will teach you that piece. I'm also going to teach you how to think about the process of lead generation ahead of time, the prep. So you stop wasting so much time prepping yourself to death or just piling on other quote unquote important things to do to keep you away from actually doing this most valuable, most profitable thing. So I'm going to teach you that prep process. And this is the other side of it. The other side of it is the debrief. After you've made the ask, right? After you've said, will you join my street team? Will you make a gift of $20,000 this year? Will you become my client? Like whatever the ask is. Regardless of their answer, the debrief is so important because the debrief is what keeps you going and continuing on to grow your leads, or it is the thing that keeps you from never doing it again or avoiding it as much as possible. The debrief is how we talk to ourselves. The debrief is what you end up picking apart in your own head of where it was a total bust and you said the wrong thing and you shouldn't have done that and they didn't like you and and the chatter. That is the debrief. And we're going to shift the way that you talk to yourself. It's so important. It is why I can give you strategy all day, but strategy isn't the only thing that you need to be successful. You need to have a clear, clean mindset to keep you going to where you want to be. Imagine that you're going for a walk for the first time to meet a friend at a new restaurant. And you're going for a walk and a couple things happen along the way that get you off course, okay? So when you get off course to meet your friend, you have a couple of different options. If you're feeling pretty low, you're going to turn around and you are going to head home. You're going to text your friend and say, forget it, it's Netflix, I'm going under the covers. But if you handle those obstacles, you handle those curveballs that you didn't expect, right? Those literal bumps in the road, and you keep going to that place you've never journeyed to, and you talk to yourself in a way that is kind, that is helpful, that has important data to help you, get there faster, to enjoy the process of getting there, then you're going to get there. So how you talk to yourself is really, really important in lead generation. And it's why so many people hate it. It's because they're talking to themselves in a way that's pretty terrible. They're like, oh, you sounded terrible. That person didn't want to talk to you. Yeah. You don't have to talk to yourself that way. And 99.9% of the time, you're wrong. The things we make up in our head are way, way, way worse than how people are actually thinking most of the time, people aren't even thinking about us. We're thinking about our own stuff. So we're going to shift the way you go through that debrief process, okay? We will talk about what happens if you get a no, what to do next. We will talk about what happens when you get a yes, what to do next. And it will change the way you go through this lead gen and prospecting process for good. So here's what I want you to do after today's episode. I want you to think about making a list of who are the prospects right now that are kind of warm, that I've really just been avoiding reaching out to. And ask yourself just to write the list. I'm not going to make you ask. I'm not going to make you do any outreach. So stay with me here. Write the list of names. Like it could be names or even organizations. Maybe you're reaching out to businesses, right? And write them all down, as many as you can think of. Who are the people that I air quotes should reach out to, but I've been avoiding, or I kind of want to, but I've been avoiding. Write that list. And then on the other side, you could do 2 columns. I want you to write down the why. So like imagine you have 10 names written down and make a correlation why and see what comes out on the why of like, why haven't I reached out? Well, I should actually reach out to them in the summer. That's better for them. Like, what are the excuses that you're telling yourself? Or what are the reasons that you're telling yourself? And just pause there and just let it be. Okay. Just notice it and let it be. And then come to outreach week and we will get you to the point where you actually want to reach out to these people. Yes, it's totally possible where you're doing it. No one's making you, but you actually want to. Sounds good, right? Go to splendidcourses.com/outreach to join us. Use the promo code podcast for a 20% off discount, and I will see you soon. Like what you're hearing and want to take this to the next level? I want to invite you to go to purposeandprofit.club to watch my free class. In there, I will tell you the number one thing that's keeping your nonprofit or social impact business stuck and what to do instead. Go to purposeandprofit.club. Think you've reached out to everyone in your network? Are you out of ideas to get noticed and get funded? I hear you. That's why I'm giving you a chance to steal my prospect list. Yes, you can generate leads for your nonprofit or impact-driven business. Grab my mini training and list delivered to your inbox instantly. Go to splendidcourses.com/prospect.